Hi, my name is Grace Carriaga Benavides, and this is my presentation for using instructional models to eliminate misconceptions on plate tectonics. Misconceptions are views and opinions that are incorrect based on faulty thinking or understanding. In science, we have a lot of misconceptions because many concepts in this subject are not easy to see. Therefore, students make a lot of misconceptions. The topic I chose is plate tectonics, and there are a few misconceptions that students have. Number one, students may mistakenly assume that each continent is a tectonic plate and that the boundaries for the plate are always the edges of the continents. Number two, students may mistakenly assume that only continents move. And number three, students may mistakenly assume that ocean ridges are due to vertical uplift or convergent plate boundaries rather than divergent plates. So, the instructional models that I chose to help remove those scientific misconceptions are direct instruction, interactive instructional model, and project based learning. The first one I'm going to look at is direct instruction. Direct instruction is an instructional approach that is structured, sequenced, and led by the teacher. It uses presentations of academic content and demonstration. Now, the misconception that I'm going to help remove is students may mistakenly assume that each continent is a tectonic plate and that the boundaries for the plates are always the edges of the continent. So, what I would do first, I would start by lecturing and giving the students the facts about plate tectonics. I would then give each of them a map and I would model and label it together with them so they could clear up that misconception. The first thing I would do is to color all land masses in a green colored pencil. After that, I would color all the water in a blue colored pencil. Then I would take a red marker and I would trace every single one of those boundaries. Now, after I trace all of those boundaries, I would show them where those boundaries lie. Some of them are based between oceans, some of them are next to the continents, but they do not form the continents. I would help them label the map. This map and the boundary lines in the oceans and some on land would allow them to clear up that misconception that the continents are the tectonic plates. The next misconception that I would tackle would be students may mistakenly assume that only continents move. The model that I would use for this would be the interactive structure model. That I went ahead, what I went ahead and I did, I found this really good resource online that takes you to this interactive tectonic explorer. So you choose how many plates you want on your model. I'm going to go ahead and choose 5 plates. And because I'm trying to take away, you get to go ahead and draw your continents. You could rotate it as you see fit. Because I'm trying to show students that not only land masses move, oceans do too, and water does too, I'm going to go ahead and draw one land mass with water in between. Once I'm done drawing my land, I press next. It allows me to put my force vectors, which are my boundaries, right here. I'm going to go ahead and put divergent boundaries so I could separate these boundaries. And I'm going to draw a few more boundaries on this side. So when you're done drawing your boundaries, you press next, press finish, and there you could see your boundaries breaking up. There are my land separating, my oceans moving. You could even draw a cross section so you could see exactly what's happening in that one area. Go ahead and press start again, and it shows exactly what's going on. This would be a great instructional model because students see not only how the continents move, but they also see the oceans moving as well. My last instructional model would be project-based learning, and the misconception that I would tackle it would be students may mistakenly assume that ocean ridges are due to vertical uplift or convergent boundaries rather than divergent boundaries. So for the project-based learning, what I would do, I would choose a project and put the students in groups of 3 to 4 students. I would assign research to the groups. I would tell each of the students in the group that one has to look up convergent boundaries and what kind of landforms they form. Another has to do divergent boundaries and what kind of landforms they form. And the other does transform boundaries and what kind of landforms they form. Now, once they have their research, they will make one poster to collaborate all their research ideas. They will teach each other about the different boundaries. Once they've mastered that with each other, they're going to go up in front of the class, and each group is going to present their project to the rest of the class. This will help eliminate any misconceptions that students have as far as what landforms are made with each individual boundary type. So in conclusion, each of these 3 instructional models would work to resolve common student misconceptions. Again, direct instruction I would use to lecture and to give students the facts to show them exactly where those boundaries lie on a map, that the continents are not the tectonic plates. For interactive instructional model, students would use their Chromebooks individually. They would create their own continents and see how they separate over time because of the different types of boundaries, and learn that oceans move as well, not just continents. And finally, the project-based learning would have them do their own research and teach each other and the rest of the class about the different boundaries and what landforms they make, which of course includes divergent boundaries making ocean ridges. This was my presentation. Thank you for your time.